After 10 years in the making, Honda's brand new E-Clutch technology is finally here for the 2024 CB650R as well as the CBR650R, and it's making quite the waves in the motorcycle industry for good reason. This bike can function as a fully manual, normal bike, but it also has a mode where you don't have to use that clutch lever at all. It will upshift, downshift, and come to a stop without ever needing the clutch, and it won't stall out. This is the future, dude. We have a full day of taking the bikes out on the track, as you see there, followed by about 70 miles of mountain back roads to really test these things out, and I'm bringing you guys along for the ride. Subscribe if you're new here. Let's jump straight into it and check this thing out. So as you can see, you have your clutch lever here, just like any normal manual transmission bike, but then on the side over here, you have the E-Clutch. And I'm not going to act like I know enough about it to explain all of the intricacies, but essentially this is a motor, or I think two little motors in here, that when the E-Clutch is engaged will actually work the clutch for you. So you can see you have just a regular clutch cable leading up to the clutch lever like on any other bike, but you have the option to never have to use it, or I should say the E-Clutch uses it for you. So let's throw a leg over this thing and see how it works in real time, shall we? Alright, so you turn the bike on, use this little lever right here, click over to your settings, go down to the gear indicator, go over to E-Clutch, and that's where you can either have it on, which you can see right there by the green light there and there, or you can click down on that button and now you can see that it's off. That's black and there's no light there. So right now the clutch has a pull like a normal clutch lever, but then as soon as you push it up into E-Clutch mode, you'll hear the motor kind of make a noise. Hopefully you guys can hear that. And now it's on. You can also set how hard you need to push up or down on the shift lever in order to actually change gears. I'm starting off in medium, but we'll try out soft and hard as well. Starter up in the E-Clutch mode, as you can see right there. So now you can literally come over to the shift lever, kick it down into first gear. It's not moving, it's not stalling, and then you can, let's not screw this up, but not even touch the clutch handle and just get going. How cool is that? And then you can go ahead, oh, I didn't notice all those sick cars in there, what the hell? You can come to a stop in first gear and it doesn't stall out. And it's interesting too, while it's in the E-Clutch mode, you can see there's like nothing on the clutch lever, because right now the E-Clutch is essentially actuating the clutch for you. So I bet if we start going though, and then we touch it, as it gets up to speed, now you have the full kind of, what am I trying to say? Like the clutch feels normal. Now, even when you're in this mode, if you pull in the clutch, it'll work like normal. The light goes off and then you let the clutch out and it'll take a couple seconds to have the light come back on, and now it's fully in E-Clutch mode once again. It essentially works like a quick shifter up and down. So I just click it up and we're in second gear. Click it down and we're in first. How cool is that? But then I can still pull in the clutch if I want to. Now that's the only thing though. Once you pull in the clutch, if I come to a stop in first gear and I have the clutch in, because the E-Clutch is not activated, if I let that out, it will still stall. So we'll put it in neutral and then you'll see the E-Clutch is activated again. Start it up and you're good to go. So really the only time that this thing will stall out is if you take over manual control of the clutch, come to a stop and let it out. I'm gonna test something out though. We'll put it in first gear, and they were saying that even, you know, say you're a new rider, you get into second gear, third gear, even fourth gear. So it'll have this indicator here letting you know you're in too high of a gear, you need to go down. It will not do it for you. It's not an automatic bike, but it will let you know you probably should. Even if you forget, even with that, and you come to a stop in fourth gear, it's not gonna stall out. And you could even get going in fourth gear. I'm going to stop that because obviously it'll put extra wear on the clutch, because it's, you know, the same as if you were coming from a start in fourth gear on a manual bike. But yeah, now you can see E-Clutch took back over, click it down, we're in first gear. So think quick shifter up and down, but with the ability to come to a stop without stalling, which is super cool, because the first time I ever used a quick shifter was on the ZX4RR, and I got so used to how the quick shifter worked that I forgot to pull in the clutch coming to a stop, and it was not good. Oh my gosh, dude, I just stalled it because I forgot. It's a quick shifter, but it still needs a clutch. What a dumbass, dude. All right, now I've already done a little bit of a sight lap on this, so let's go ahead and get on the track. My first track day ever, and we'll see how she does, and I'll show you how it just kind of rose through the gears seamlessly. And you can be on the throttle and still kick it down a gear, and it almost auto blips for you, because it has a slipper clutch also, so you don't need to blip it when you downshift. We'll get on it, click up. How sick is this? And then we can click down. So yeah, you can be on the throttle for upshifts and downshifts, and it handles everything for you. This thing is so cool. I don't want to say too much right off the bat. I want to test it on the public roads first, but this thing feels like it could be such a good track day / commuter duo. Because imagine sitting in traffic and not having to worry about the clutch, and then coming to a track day and having a quick shifter. Dude, this is so much fun. Dude, inline 4-cylinder screaming. This is my first time on a track. Don't come at me about my lines and such. I am not a track rider by any means. So you'll see I'm revving it out, but it's not shifting for me. And then as soon as I touch it, upshift for me. Slap it down, it'll downshift for you. That one was a little rough because I was higher in the RPMs. Oh, downshift. Dude, this thing is so freaking cool. But then again, like I said, if you want to take over the clutch control, you can see that light flashing on and off as the E-Clutch engages and disengages. This bite is so flickable too. It's so much fun. I still instinctively let off the throttle as it shifts sometimes though. Creature of habit. I still find myself instinctively pulling in the clutch when I come to a stop.
Yeah, I did that coming into the pit a little bit ago. I pulled the clutch in and realized, oh crap, I just disengaged it. But then, you know, you put it back in neutral. And
it just automatically goes back.
Back in first, and it resets itself.
Yep. All right, so we'll go over, change it down to soft for up and down. It's really cool that you can change it independently also. So it's soft, so now it should really need barely any input to go into gear. Let's see. Oh yeah, dude, you barely got to touch it. The only issue I could see with this could be potentially if you accidentally give it a little love tap, it could end up going down into gear, but we'll see. We'll let him go because he's the actual fast guy. Yamaha Champ School. And then we'll... Oh yeah, dude. This is like a real quick shifter now. When you put it on the soft setting, it's like barely... I lost track of what gear I was in. But when you put it in soft, it feels more like a true quick shifter, like you barely have to touch it. Oh yeah, I like soft. I like that a lot. Let me not get carried away trying to chase the fast guy. There's levels to this stuff, people. First day on a track, chasing down the guy that teaches track. Show me your body position and your lane position, but go slower so I can keep up. Oh, yeah, he's fast. Oh, yeah, he's gone, dude. He's gone. It's too early in the morning for me to be keeping up with the pros. Not that that was ever going to be an option, but, you know. Let's pull off into the pits, and let's try it with the hard setting. See how much it takes to shift up and down with that. Tink. You see how it kind of like almost rev matches for you? Like it doesn't actually rev match for you, but the slipper clutch just slips it right into the RPMs that you need without it bucking too much. What setting do you like so far? Hard.
Feels the most traditional quick shifter.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I was just saying, do you have to be in neutral to change it? Oh, shit. That's how it stalls out. I was just saying that about the soft setting.
Really? Soft is a little bit too touchy. I feel like if I click down, if I accidentally bump it in soft, it's like, oh, it's time to shift.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, is that could definitely be a possibility.
Definitely try it on high and keep it on the boil, and you'll feel how it's a little bit it feels more deliberate.
Yeah.
Shifting. There's no accident happening.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna test that out, and then after a lap or two, we'll come and trade.
Sounds good.
It's so weird getting going without a clutch, dude. Oh, it is a little, just doing that in slow speed, it's a little herky-jerky. So like here, I would pull in the clutch to prevent that, and then let the clutch out, and now it's back to E-Clutch. I feel like with the hard, not unless there was a way that I was just doing that wrong, but it felt almost like more of a delay, kind of. In a second. I feel like there's a little bit more of a delay with the hard setting. I think I like soft. It felt good on the downshift, but on upshifts it feels like it doesn't happen as instantaneous as I want it to. Let's see. That felt good, but I still feel like it's like almost like a little bit of a, I don't know if delay is the right word, but I think I'm a soft guy. My first attempt at being a fast boy. Nothing like a track day to show you how much you suck. Yeah. All right, so time to switch off to the CBR. It's essentially the same platform, but fully faired. It is tuned slightly different. I'm not exactly sure how different. I guess we'll see if it feels any different. These are also recently updated for this model year. I believe the headlights are different. The design is a little bit different. I will say that with the CBR, one of the things that I don't like as much, which some people might like, is the fact that all of this is black. So the E-Clutch kind of like blends in, you know what I mean? So unless you know what you're looking for, it just looks like a regular bike. On this, because of the bronze accents, I feel like it's a lot more pronounced, like, hey, there's an E-Clutch on here, you know, which is pretty cool. Also, typically the engine case only sticks out to here, I believe, so the E-Clutch really doesn't stick out that much further, which is pretty cool. Look at my first attempt at being a fast boy. All right, CBR, let's see what it's all about. Okay, seat feels a little bit firmer. I might be making that up, but I swear the seat feels a lot firmer than the other one. Okay, so it's in first gear, so it's not in, there we go. Then we just click it up into neutral and it automatically goes into E-Clutch. We're gonna go over though and we'll switch it to soft because I think that's what I prefer. And let's go. Definitely a lot more hunched over on this than you are on the CB, obviously. Oh wow, it's already in first. Soft really is soft, huh? We'll start going. So yeah, you're definitely a lot more hunched over, aggressive and sporty feeling on this, but obviously nowhere near like a full-blown super sport like the 600s, the 1000s. So I think obviously for like a daily commuter, the CB, the naked one, would be a much better choice because I can already feel a little bit of pressure on my wrists here. But like I said, it's also nothing crazy compared to like actual race bikes. Okay, let's see. Ooh, yeah. I can already tell it feels like this is sportier. Winds out a little bit more. I might be making that up, but I can also feel the wind from the windscreen. I can like hear it. I'm way more hunched over. This is a position that I am not used to. But this bike I feel like wants me to wind it out more. The other one felt a little punchier. I might be making that up just because I know that it's tuned a little different. Ooh, that was a little aggressive engine braking. That was weird. Yeah, I think this is much sportier, obviously. Other bike is a lot more my style. I feel like this, I might be making it up, but has a lot more engine braking. Is that in my head? See how she does through this guy. I feel like this is a lot easier to hang off the side of and be aggressive, which is foreign to me. It's also really loud with the wind from the windscreen. Holy shit. Do I need to be tucked down like a fast boy in order to not have the wind or what? Downshift. Yeah, I feel like I'm sitting up what am I trying to say? I'm used to the naked bike position, so I'm used to sitting up. This wants me to crouch over, which I am not used to, but makes more sense for this type of bike. Let's hit the apexes, boys. Yeah, it has like a weird like lag clunkiness with the engine braking, I feel like. Let's see how it does downshifting to second here. I feel like there's a weird kind of delay right here. No, that was a lot smoother. Okay, I'm getting used to it, I think. On the throttle, downshift, automatically kind of, it doesn't blip, I need to stop saying that, but it just slips into the right RPMs so much easier. This thing screams at higher RPMs in a way that the CB does not. All right, let's really give her the beans on the straight here, shall we? I just saw it flash when I needed to upshift, so maybe that's the shift point that I was seeing. We'll check that when we get to pit and ask them about that. I don't know if it's because I'm getting more comfortable on the track, but this feels like it wants you to give it all the beans. The other one is like, it has the beans when you need the beans, but it's just there for like the weekend warrior back roads, you know? This wants you to give it full beans. Oh, I used the clutch there, dude. I wasn't thinking. That is so funny. Come to a stop, one-handed, and no stalling, dude. That's crazy. Question.
Yeah.
In the menu,
yeah,
I see shift point.
Yep.
Is that when the cluster starts like flashing to let you know?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yep.
And then is it a setting or is it a difference between the bikes? I noticed that this one is white, the other display was black. Is that a difference or is it?
Change it.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
you can change it.
Is that the only thing that's changeable about it, or can you change like the way it looks too?
So display type, you could have
Oh.
circle, simplistic, so brightness level, you can have it adjust the brightness of itself. Background, white, black, you can change that as well.
And for auto, does it detect the brightness and change, or is it like?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so at night it'll be able to adjust that.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, guys, the track portion of the day is pretty much coming to an end. We're wrapping up here, and then we're going to head out to the roads. So far, I am loving both of these bikes so much. I think the CB is still the clear winner for me, just because I'm not much of a sport bike boy, but I will say that this does a lot better on the track than this one seems to. I was saying that it felt like this one was tuned differently, and then it wants to wind out a little bit more than the CB does. And apparently, I believe he said the ignition timing is a bit different on this, but also the head designer was saying that the way that this ram air duct is made, at higher speeds it really sucks air in there a lot more than this one does, which makes the CB feel a little bit more punchy, whereas the CBR wants to wind out a little bit more. This one's definitely more comfortable, of course, more of an upright seating position, but this one has you just set up for absolute track day weapon. So yeah, it's really cool getting to ride both of them and kind of compare. I'd say that the CBR is a clear winner on the track, whereas the CB holds its own, and I prefer it, but obviously it's not quite as track oriented as something like the CBR. Now that we'd had a few hours on the track getting comfortable on both bikes and familiarizing ourselves with all the ins and outs of the fancy new E-Clutch, it was time to hit the streets for some real world testing. My goal was to do the entire 70 to 80 mile ride without ever touching the clutch lever to really get a feel for how the E-Clutch performs. Old habits die hard though, and I almost grabbed the clutch lever at the very first stop sign, but fortunately I managed to lock in and went clutchless for the remainder of our ride. I started out on a CBR for the first leg of the ride and would swap out to a CB for the second half. Although I'd already decided that the CB was my preference, the CBR turned out to be a welcome companion for our slightly spirited ride through the mountains. As lunchtime approached and I reflected on how much of an absolute joy the bike had been on the first leg of the ride, there were only 2 real grievances that had come up for me so far. Early in the ride, I could feel that my bike's shift settings weren't set to soft like I preferred, but since the settings menu can't be accessed while on the move, I had to wait over 30 minutes until our first stop to get the shift settings dialed in how I like. I can get why Honda wouldn't want people playing around with the menu at speed, but I wish that at least the shift settings could be changed on the move, since they actually alter the riding characteristics of the bike, and there's not always going to be an easy place to stop and change them. I'll talk more about my other grievance during the second leg of the ride, but for now, lunch and a bike swap. Alright, well we just had a baller lunch at Two Wheels of Suches. Got a burger that was delicious. You could tell just by their menu, the old school menu, that the food was going to be good, and it did not disappoint. Now I'm hopping off of the CBR and hopping onto the CB for the rest of the trip. The second leg of the trip should be about exactly the same length as what we just did, so it'll be cool to compare, because like I said, strangely, I really preferred this on the track, but then once I got that on the road, it was freaking great. So let's see if this is even better. Dude, yeah, the seat is so much comfier. The seating position, the seat itself, the seat's cushy, my hands are higher up. I love it, dude. So from this position, you should be able to see really well how these bars are almost like dirt bike bars, got the risers, and then those are clip-ons. So from here, you should really be able to tell how much higher these come up than those. Obviously a much sportier position compared to this. This is a lot more comfy, probably much better for like your daily commuter. And we are off, ladies and gentlemen. I think one thing that I forgot to talk about in the video so far is the pricing of this. And the crazy thing is Honda did not change the pricing year over year for the CBR650 or the CB650. So the CB650R is going to come in at $93.99 and the CBR is going to come in $500 higher at $98.99, and that's the exact same price that it was last year, but this year you get the updated screen, updated tech, some updates to the frame and the engine, and of course the E-Clutch. So lots of people have the question of like, how much extra does it cost for the E-Clutch? Nothing. It is the same exact price. Will it stay that way forever? I don't know. Honestly, I think it's more of like a power move on Honda's part, keeping it the same price to get the hype up when it first releases, and then once people try it out and the hype is already, you know, kind of there organically, then they can do what manufacturers do with their new models, and of course increase the price a little bit year over year. So there's a chance that on newer models, you know, they've talked about adding the E-Clutch to other bikes. They haven't mentioned which ones, but there is always the chance that, you know, say for example they put it on a Rebel 500, there's always the chance that that will be a price increase once like the hype is already there. But yeah, as of now, same exact price year over year, which is crazy. And I gotta say, so far, I know I said the CBR was fun. Nah, the CB has my heart. It doesn't feel like it revs out quite as like rev happy as the CBR, but dude, this position, the comfort, this could be just an everyday commuter slash back road warrior without a question, dude. And for $500 cheaper, sign me up. As much fun as the CBR was, I think it's clear there's no denying that the CB just has my heart. Although not technically as sporty as the CBR, I felt like I could ride even harder on the CB just because of how much more comfortable I was on it. Dude, I feel so much more comfortable on this than I did the CBR. Holy crap. And with less brain power being devoted to shifting since the E-Clutch was doing most of the work for me, seamlessly I might add, it felt like I had even more brain power to daydream of seeing this CB sitting right in my garage as part of my personal fleet. My kind of bike, my kind of back roads, dude. This is great. But let's not forget about that second grievance that I mentioned earlier, because it showed itself once again on the final leg of our ride. And that would be that strange delay slash lunkiness that I mentioned when I first got the CBR on the track. Ooh, that was a little aggressive engine braking. That was weird. Because we weren't winding the bikes out as much on the street as we were on the track, I found that the issue was there on both bikes, typically between 4,000 and 6,000 RPM at open-closed throttle. The bit of harsh throttle was enough at times that I could even hear it in the bike. A little jerky. Ooh, a little herky-jerky there. There's some herky-jerky in third. Unfortunately, this just seems like a bit of commonplace on fuel-injected bikes with all these modern restrictions, and maybe I just needed to wind the bike out a bit more since I'm not used to riding bikes that are so rev-happy. If you pay for the whole tack, you better use the whole tack, right? Even with that said, though, it didn't detract from the riding experience at all. As a matter of fact, the E-Clutch was so fun, smooth, and freeing that it more than made up for any piddly little issues that I thought I had found. As fate would have it, we were even blessed with some traffic at the end of our ride where we could test the stop-and-go capabilities of the E-Clutch, and to say it was a godsend after a long day of riding would be an understatement. Downshifting, one-handed, dude. It is. If that doesn't show how smooth the downshifts are, I don't know what will. I'm literally, and then it wants me to go down to first. Will it clunk? Oh, neutral. Dang it. It's trying to be cool. But yeah, you can see just how smooth it is with the downshifts. You can literally row down through the gears one-handed. Oh, it's definitely a little clunky here. No, it's just something I got to get used to. I think if anything, it'll be kind of like the DCT, where in lower speed stuff, since it feels like you don't have as much of a friction zone, just give it a little bit more revs than you normally would and drag the rear brake a little bit, and it kind of like doubles as a friction zone. Although I say that, you still can feel like a friction zone here. The E-Clutch motor is essentially working the friction zone for you. I'm telling you, man, this freaking, yeah, it's a little like herky-jerky there. You gotta be real smooth with the throttle. But either way, beats the hell out of having to use a clutch the whole time. But then again, if I want to pull in the clutch, I can. And now I can just use it as normal. Here's one of the times where you can see the E-Clutch is not on. And then if you put the clutch out, now it's green, so it's back to E-Clutch already. So it reactivates the E-Clutch pretty quickly after operating it manually, which is pretty cool. I thought it would take longer than that. Dude, if I lived in like a really crowded city, I would take this for like daily commuting and stuff all freaking day. Still able to row through the gears, but never having to use a clutch in traffic, dude. Sign me up. Okay, can we get going one-handed? Dude, this is crazy. This is the future, dude. And just like that, the day has come to an end. As quickly as this insane E-Clutch day started, it is now over. Honestly, I don't think there's much that I could say about these bikes that I didn't already say in the video. I don't care if you're a hater of automatic bikes. This, I think, does not fit the mold, because you can turn it completely off and just use it like a regular manual transmission. So it honestly feels like you're getting two bikes for the price of one. That's gonna do it for this crazy adventure. Shout out to Honda for bringing me out. Shout out to all the other content creators for good vibes. Shout out to the Patreon members for making all of this possible. I have a ton of Patreon Polaroids I'm gonna be sending out to you guys here soon. Ooh, tell the people to like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, even though it doesn't work.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Love you guys. Peace.
Oh, so basic. Hope you play this. Damn, I prayed it. Nice song, and I became this. Oh, souls fake it. Pay those placements. Fuck shit.
And I'm still waiting on a brighter day. It's been a minute, been rough many times more. And I'm kicking rocks to a sky of gray. Praying hard, talk to me before I'm done for.